We're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, episode 100 was awesome. It was super fun. I can't wait for the next 100. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 101st Dinking Around.
Oh, yeah, episode 101.
That's right, we just had our 100th episode live from Wolverine Pickleball. Webby, I'm jealous. I know that I got to be at home at my place in Naples, Florida, which I love, but I would have loved to have been there with you with those three amazing women that jumped on as guests.
It was such an awesome night. I definitely wish you were there to experience it because it was a very fun time, but I thought it was a great episode. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. We had a few little glitches due to the internet connection on the facility, but overall I thought that it was a very fun and awesome episode.
Yeah, I think all things considered, being that we kind of threw it together, an hour before, it worked out pretty well. So that was awesome. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. Do you know what else you should check out? Webby, take a guess at what I'm going to say that people should be checking out.
I don't know, but I wish I knew of a good place to get a pickleball paddle.
Well, I know just that place, and that is from our friends over at Valere Pickleball. Let me tell you guys something. You can get your hands on some incredible paddles from our friends over at Valere Pickleball. Webby and I have been playing with their paddles even before we partnered with them, and they have paddles that will fit any of your style of play. Webby, what have you been playing with lately?
Lately, I have been loving the Control 2 Forza. I always use that when I play doubles, but when I play singles, I've been really liking the V.1F wide body. It's one of their hybrid paddles. It's got some extra oomph. It's got crazy grit on it. I love it.
Well, being a wide body myself, I think I might enjoy playing with that paddle, and you guys should get your hands on one as well by going to Valere.com using coupon code PB for life, and that's going to get you what, Webby?
You will get yourself 10% off your order, but it's also going to show us some support in the process, so you kill two birds with one stone.
That's right, Valere.com, coupon code PB for life.
And speaking of people getting their hands on Volare paddles, we are actually going to be announcing the winners of the Volare Pickleball Paddle giveaway tonight. Anybody who tuned into episode 100, you are aware that we are going to be doing a drawing to reveal the winner. All you had to do was do a post on social media saying, I dink around with Eddie and Webby, and tag us and Volare Pickleball. That's all you had to do to get yourself an entry. If you did it on multiple social media platforms, you got multiple entries, and we have the winners. We do know the winners. I feel like maybe we should do one announcement now and then maybe one towards the end of the episode. What do you think?
Or should we do one after we find out what in the world is in that drink? What you got in that drink?
That is a great idea to do it after we find out what's in our drink. And let's start with you, Eddie. What are you drinking tonight?
Well, we are on the road right now. As you can tell, we are back in the motorhome, and I only brought a few beers with me. So this is a repeat of last time, and this is the Mosaic Grouper Hazy IPA from our friends over at Fort Myers Brewing Company. I loved this beer then. I'm going to love it again tonight, and I'm excited to sip on it. Webby, what about you? What are you going to be enjoying tonight?
Well, this is one I've actually never had before. My wife and I recently took a trip to Toronto, and while we were there was a place near our hotel called Steam Whistle Brewing, and we went there, and this is their flagship beer. It is called Steam Whistle Pilsner, and I'm interested to give this a try, so that is what I will be sipping on tonight in my lovely Eddie and Webby pint glass.
Nice. Well, cheers, my friend. Cheers to everyone out there. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and let us know what you're drinking down in the comments below.
Absolutely. Cheers, everybody.
So, Webby, while you are taking your first sip there, I'm excited to hear what you think of the beer. And then immediately after, I'm excited to hear who the first winner of our Valere paddle giveaway is going to be.
I'm liking this a lot. I'm actually typically not a huge Pilsner fan, but I wanted to try this because this is their flagship beer, and it's actually pretty good. It's very light, very refreshing, very tasty, and I am definitely going to enjoy this.
What typically don't you like about a Pilsner?
I don't know. They're more of like a light beer to me. They're kind of like weedy tasting. I've never been the biggest fan of wheat type beers, like just with an overly wheat flavor, and just like the light beer aftertaste, if that makes sense.
Sure. Okay, I could see that.
This one's good though. It's got like a little extra bite. It's not like a typical like Budweiser or Coors Light type of beer.
I wonder if that one tastes more like a European Pilsner, like a Czech Pilsner or some of the Pilsners you get in Eastern Europe, because they tend to be a little bit more full-bodied, a little bit hoppier. I like them. Like if I'm going to go to a Mediterranean restaurant and they have a good Mediterranean Pilsner, I don't mind getting my hands on one of those.
I do feel like this might fit that category because on part of the can, it spells beer as Biere. Isn't that more of like a European type of spelling?
It sure is. So yeah, maybe that's what they're going for.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So I will definitely like sipping on this throughout the episode.
Nice. Well, Webby, I'm sure everybody is anxious to hear who our first winner of the paddle giveaway from episode 100 is.
All right, so we used wheelofnames.com to help us randomly select the winners from our list of contestants. They were all input on the wheel. We spun the wheel, and the first winner is Nathan Turner on Instagram. Congratulations, Nathan. And he took advantage of doing multiple submissions, so that definitely paid off. So thank you for the support, Nathan, and you are going to be the proud owner of a new Volair pickleball paddle of your choice. We will contact you and get all your details.
Congratulations, Nathan. That's awesome. You're going to love your new Volair paddle, just like I'm going to be finding out.
Now it's time for Memes of the Week. Yeah!
That's right, Memes of the Week, the hottest segment in all of pickleball podcasting. And Eddie, I am just absolutely dying to know what kind of meme you picked this week.
Well, Webby, I couldn't disappoint. I had to go back to our friends over at Memes of Pickleball. I don't know if you've watched any of the recent PPA events, but there was a good little situation with Zane Ford. The meme is, just go out there and have fun. Me.
Again on this play.
10-4.
Wow, James Ignatowicz takes the match in 3 again. And a snapped paddle by Zane Ford.
Was it snapped?
With this
Was it snapped though, Mish? I mean, it definitely cracked it. I don't know what the definition of snapped would be. Not picking on you, Mish. You know we love you. But yeah, I think he gave it a good old try. But I don't know, man. That might actually be a testament to the durability of that paddle.
Right? Oh, man. Maybe if anything, if she heard anything snap, maybe it was his knee.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
That did look like he was going to have a nice bruise or gash later. But hey, You know what? We've all been there, Zane. Keep fighting the good fight, man.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked about it in the past. I am a bit of a thrower, and I can kind of understand why somebody would want to smash their paddle or throw their paddle. I haven't actually done it during a tournament, but I've definitely had the urge, and I've been able to resist doing it, but it probably felt good in the moment for him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Webby, that's my meme this week. What about you?
Well, this one comes from another friend of ours, and this is from Evan Slaughter over at Fit2Serve on Instagram, and this is called The Riper the Berry.
Look at her, man. Wow. What are you talking about, bro? She's probably in her 70s, man. That's how I like them, dude. The riper the berry, the sweeter the juice, I think is what they say. I think they're talking about fruit whenever they say that. I don't think they're talking about senior citizens at the pickleball court. Life is too short to not hit on a sugar mama like that. I'm going over there, man. I can't help myself. Please don't, Steve. Can we just play some pickleball, please? Steve! Get your stuff, man. Get your stuff, Steve. Yeah, how'd that go, man? You feel better about yourself? Is she inviting you back to the assisted living facility after this? Oh, she's a great-grandmother, man. I didn't see that coming. I can do grandmother, but great-grandmother? Probably never play pickleball here again, Steve. Thanks, Steve.
I love Evan's videos because like he has just such a humorous take on his videos. Like they're a lot different. He has a content and comedy background outside of pickleball, and stuff like that is just hilarious to me.
Yeah, so good. And what a good sport for her to be in that video as well.
Right? Oh, man. Good stuff. I love the Memes of the Week segment. It is one of my favorites. But I'm actually looking at my watch, and now it's time for
Topics of the Week.
That's right. Topics of the Week, where every week Webby and I pick a pickleball topic, and we talk about it. But sometimes We have special circumstances, like today, where we have one topic, and that's going to be yours, Webby. What's going on?
Oh, man, I am very excited about this one. I learned about a new podcast that is coming out soon, and one of the co-hosts is a good friend of ours. And without further ado, let's get to the discussion. Thanks, Eddie and Webby. Today, I am actually on location at Paddle and Par in Beverly Hills, Michigan, which is an absolutely beautiful pickleball facility. They have indoor pickleball courts. They have golf simulator suites. They have ping pong tables. They have a full bar and a brick oven pizza kitchen. And I am actually joined by a very special guest today. He is a great and very well-respected referee in the world of pickleball. Please welcome to the show, Mike Baumgarder. How's it going, Mike?
Great. Thank you, Webby. Thanks for having me here, and thanks for asking me to be a part of the show.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. The main reason I wanted to connect with you is I saw a post that you recently did talking about a brand new pickleball podcast that you're doing. So I'd love to have you tell everybody more about that.
Yeah, so a friend of mine, Bob Swisshelm, was a fellow referee. He and I have been refereeing together and working together for quite some time. And we have found that referees know the rules, right? But a lot of the players don't understand some of the details involving certain rules. So he and I have been talking for a little while about how putting together a podcast that does that very thing, educates the players on some of the rules and the details associated with the rules. So we've put together a podcast that we're calling View from the Post. We're looking at doing it every couple of weeks or as our schedule allows us to. In fact, we're going to do another one tomorrow because I'll be traveling for the next couple of weeks for refereeing. So working on doing another one tomorrow, but thanks for asking.
That's awesome. I think that's a great idea because there's a lot of pickleball podcasts out there these days, and I feel like a lot of them mainly talk about the pro world or drama going on in pickleball or like just results at tournaments, things like that. They're all great. They're a lot of fun, but I think this is a great, unique type of podcast that you guys are doing, and I think it's going to be very helpful to a lot of people too. Which one of you came up with the idea?
It was kind of my idea based off of a great friend of mine named Larry Scott. He was my mentor as I was coming up through the referee ranks. He helped me achieve my CR, certified referee status, and but he and I had been talking about certain situations that we run into on the courts. Me as a head referee going out to a court that he may be reffing on, where I have to make a call on a rules interpretation call, and then afterwards we talk about it. It's like the players just don't understand. Many times we get called to court, and those situations are easily resolved by just explaining how the rule works or how it. You work towards helping them understand how it is applied to the situation on the court, right?
Right.
So we had talked about it, and then I got with Bob. Bob and I talked. It's like, hey, because he's very technical and has the idea and understanding of how to put something together. He's also a fabulous referee and a head referee for the APP Tour. It works for me. And we're like, hey, let's put this together, and we'll just hit on a couple subject or a subject for each time we do one. Throw it out there, let people listen to it. We just did one last week, the difference between distraction and a hinder, right? So many times we'll get called to court and say, well, there was a hinder. Well, no, it really was a distraction, or vice versa, right? We believe it's going to be an educational experience for the players. It's going to help them. It's going to help the referees. We're excited about it.
Yeah, and I think that was a great episode because before that episode, I did not know the difference between distraction and a hindrance. To me, they were the same thing. I always thought they were the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, not by the rules.
Yeah, so that's great stuff. And then you talked about Bob, your co-host. He is a great referee also. He's actually refereed some of my matches at Beer City Open in the past, so I know firsthand that he's a great referee also. You and I actually have a long history in the pickleball world. A lot of people might not realize. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I want to talk more about just refereeing in general. What made you decide to become a referee?
Well, as you know, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, I was playing pickleball, just basically self-taught. Went to one clinic, and I thought, I don't want to start playing pickleball in tournaments. So a friend of mine, he and I became partners, and we played in several tournaments, and it got to the point where he was a much better player than me, and I recognized that, he recognized that, and was like, why don't you go keep playing, and then I think I want to get in this referee atmosphere. And then, of course, my wife, Michelle, she's also a certified referee. She had some interest in it as well, because I was playing at the Glass City Open one time, and in Toledo, and she's behind the fence, understanding how my partner and I were stacking, right? So, and she's explaining it all to a gentleman that was standing next to her, and she was spot on. So she knew exactly what she was talking about, and she's like, I think I would like to referee too. So us getting into it together and going up through the USA Pickleball series of tests and series of trainings allow us to work together, and we travel together. So it's just been a great experience for both of us. So when I lived in Ohio, I was a high school football coach for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And not being around the competition anymore or being in a different aspect of the competition was a desire of mine. So we got into refereeing. I felt that it was a way to give back to the sport, number one. It was a way to stay around the competition at a very high level. It was a way to meet new people. So those are the main things.
Nice. That's awesome. And Eddie and I are huge fans of yours and just pickleball referees in general, because I feel like it's a very thankless job that you guys do, but it's a very crucial and important job. So thank you for everything you guys do for the sport.
Well, hey, thanks. Yeah, it is. It can be thankless. Like I always tell our referees, you're going to be 100% wrong 50% of the time. So just do the things you know how to do, and do them at a high level. You'll be fine.
Yeah. One cool thing is I remember you and Michelle, when you were first getting started doing refereeing, you were doing some of the local tournaments, kind of like getting some matches under your belt to practice and stuff. And that was very cool, because some tournaments my daughter and I did, you guys were the referees on. So I got to see you and Michelle in action. And it's just so much better having referees there, because the foot fault thing, like, that's huge, because that happens. Like, I'll go back and watch videos of tournaments that I do, and my opponents will have so many foot faults that we can't see. So without the referees watching that line, those are calls that hardly ever get noticed.
Yeah, it's difficult in a non-refereed match, but when you have a referee out there, it's most likely going to get called correctly all the time.
Yeah. And on the flip side, there was one tournament that I did where it was men's doubles, and the opposing team called a foot fault, or they claimed that my partner had a foot fault. We didn't agree that he had a foot fault. I mean, there's no way we could tell until we looked at the video footage later on, and the video footage actually proved that there was no foot fault. And that was actually game point. The game ended on that point and stuff like that. And had we known the rules a little better, well, actually, so maybe you can clarify, if that does happen, if an opponent says there was a foot fault and there was a disagreement, how is that supposed to be handled?
So in that particular situation, your opponent accuses you of having a foot fault, either a non-volley zone foot fault or a service foot fault, right? So if you step on the baseline during a serve, both of those can be replayed if you agree to that.
Okay.
Okay? If you don't agree to that, we don't replay that.
The other team was serving, it was game point, and they claimed that we had a foot fault, and then there was a little bit of arguing going on, but we conceded, and then the game ended because of that.
So were there any local referees there? I mean, were there referees on site?
No referees at all at this one.
So in the event that there are referees on site or a head referee on site, when you get into those situations, feel free to ask for the head referee to come out. You can work through and find the solution. So the solution would have been the outcome that I just explained.
Yeah, and we probably could have asked the tournament director. They might have known. We didn't really know any better, and we conceded, and then after the fact, we were just kicking ourselves because we didn't realize we should have done a replay.
So this is the perfect example of, a View from the Post podcast. We can get into talking about that particular scenario. In fact, anytime we're going to do a podcast, we're going to make sure that we address it two different ways: a non-officiated match and an officiated match, and how you can handle those situations.
Nice.
And if you have any ideas that you want us to bring up on the podcast, viewfromthepost@gmail.com.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, so if you guys want to see some great information about rules, getting some clarification on the rules, you definitely want to check out the View from the Post podcast. But like I said earlier, we have kind of a long history in the game of pickleball, and it was one of my first tournaments that I had ever done. It was a round-robin tournament that Wolverine Pickleball was putting on. I'm pretty sure it was in a gymnasium of a high school, maybe even a middle school, something like that.
Yeah, it was at Saline Middle School.
That's right.
I think it was the old high school.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And what it was is basically you play with and against a bunch of different partners throughout the tournament. And then I did well enough to make it into the gold medal match, and so did Mike. And we just happened to get partnered together. So if we won, we would have went home with the gold medals, and sure enough, we did win the gold medals, and that was actually my first gold medal I ever won
Mine
in
too.
pickleball. Oh, nice. So yeah, we have a great bond here, great history.
Yeah, that was what, 2017?
I think so. It was either 2017 or 2018.
Yeah,
one of those. It was
two.
like it might have been 2017 because I was still very new to pickleball at the time.
Yeah, me too. I'm brand new.
Yeah, I cherished that medal, my very first ever gold medal.
Yeah.
Even though it was a 3-0 medal, I don't care. It was
Didn't
great.
matter.
Yeah, it was awesome.
A win's a win.
Yeah, actually, one of my very few gold medals. I think I can count on one hand how many gold medals I've won in tournaments so far. So, but that was an extra special one because it was the first. But that was just cool, and I love the fact that I have been able to witness your journey in the world of refereeing and stuff like that.
Thank you.
So, when and how did you first discover pickleball?
Quite honestly, I was new to the Royal Oak area. I was driving around one time and I saw some courts at Whittier Park. And I thought, what is this? What is this game? So I sat and watched for a little while. And Michelle was traveling for work one time, and I went out and I bought some wooden paddles from Dunham's. And I was all set, ready to go out and play, but I got real nervous, didn't go out. Then one time Michelle and I went back to the courts and just sitting watching, and some guy came up and said, why don't you go out and play? And we're like, I don't know, maybe not. That was like 2016. And then 2017, we had just bought a house in Florida, and of course Florida's got a lot of pickleball, right?
Yeah.
And my buddy and his wife came down, and I had bought some different paddles, and I was like, hey, we're gonna go play. And he goes, I don't know what it is. So we watched a couple of videos on YouTube to understand what it was, try to understand the scoring. We went out and hit it around a little bit, and we ran into this guy that was giving us some tips. We're like, well, here's where my house is. Are there courts close by? He goes, well, you can go there, but don't go on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday because that's higher level players. And this just happened to be a Tuesday. So we went the next day to that place on a Wednesday. People were gracious enough to play with us, but we got destroyed. But we were hooked from that point on. So that's how it all began.
Nice. So what would you say to people that are tuning in that are interested in becoming referees? Like, what's the best approach in your opinion?
Yeah, if you're interested in being a referee, just go on USA Pickleball website. There's a drop down in there. It says get involved. And inside of that, there are contacts, and you can send an email to USA Pickleball and say, I'm interested in being a referee. And what happens is that email will go to a local RTC, referee training coordinator, or the CRC, the Certified Referee Coordinator, for each region. So USA Pickleball is divided up into regions. I'm the CRC for the Great Lakes region, which involves Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. Those 3 states are in the Great Lakes region for USA Pickleball. And Michelle is actually the RTC. So any emails that you send out will come to either myself or her, and then we can get you started from there. We're always looking for referees. Especially dedicated referees.
Yeah, we definitely need more people like you and Michelle and Bob, definitely. I mean, you guys have devoted a lot of time, and it's evident you guys have pretty much mastered your craft. So, like I said before, thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you.
I do have a question. What are your thoughts on the current state of instant replays in professional pickleball, or the lack thereof?
Yeah, so I'm the director of officiating for the APP Tour. And we have video review capabilities on Sunday during the championship matches. It is needed. I mean, the players are playing for a lot of different things. Not only are they playing for money, they're also playing for their sponsors. They're also playing for points on the tour. So anytime you can have video review capability, you need to have it, right? So it comes with a challenge though, because the challenge is now you need to have referees that understand the policies associated with video replay for that particular tour. So not only are you a certified referee, you are now on center court, which adds other anxiety to it.
Right.
And then you throw in the video review on top of that, which is another added anxiety for some of the referees. So not every certified referee can be on center court. They're not quite there yet. They're good, don't get me wrong, but because the added anxiety may cause some issues there as well. And then not every certified referee that's live stream capable is also video review capable.
Right.
So what we do at the APP, we quiz all the referees. So we have meetings before a tournament. So next week I'm going to Newport Beach. We'll have a meeting this Sunday with the referees that are participating, have been chosen to be the referees for that particular tournament. And we will talk to them, and we'll share with them that the video review policy is online. The scripts associated with video review are available and online. And our expectation is that they'll read and understand, and they'll understand their scripts. So when they get on site, the head referees that are associated with that tournament will now gather all those people up that said they're interested and then quiz them. So they'll have a written quiz, and then from that point, they'll have a verbal quiz as well. So we have to make sure that those referees are capable of ensuring that when they're on center court with video review, that they are spot on, that they know exactly what they're doing. There's a lot of people that have paid a lot of money, a lot of sponsors have their name on that court, and we want to make sure the referees that are assigned to those championship matches know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's great to know that you guys take it so seriously, and that just shows like how much goes into refereeing. And when it comes to video reviews, there's a lot more involved than people realize. So it's not just as simple as just tossing up some cameras, doing replays, and then make an easy call. Because I know firsthand, because Eddie was part of Close Call Replay.
Yeah.
He's one of the co-creators of Close Call Replay. And last year at the Beer City Open, they used Close Call Replay, and I worked with the crew, so I got to see firsthand how much goes into it in regards to working with the refs. And they take it very seriously, and it is, like you said, it's a whole process, and not everybody can do it, like, because they're added stress. There's a whole added new element to it, because not only are you in charge of like reviewing the video footage and watching it frame by frame, and then making a definitive call, like, is there enough evidence to overturn the call or not? And you bring up a good point about the added stress. I wanted to ask you, like, how much more stress is there just in general when you're refereeing a pro match versus an amateur match?
So it's an interesting question, because you're going to look at it a couple of different ways. When you're refereeing a pro match, the oddball faults or the oddball situations don't happen because they're pro players, right? Occasionally something will come up, but for the most part, you're there to govern the match, to ensure that the match is treated fairly from both ends of the court.
Yeah.
And that you are watching for those things that you talked about, the foot faults or the service faults or any type of fault that is common to the game. You have to make sure that you're catching. So you need to make sure you're catching that. If it's in a pro match or if it's in an amateur match, it doesn't matter. But the anxiety level is higher because you know what's at stake in the pro match when it comes to the dollars and the money and the sponsorships and things like that.
Right.
Now, that being said, an amateur match is equally as important when you're talking about a referee's perspective, because you're taught different procedures, your different scripts, different processes that you have to maintain, no matter if you're doing it on an amateur level or a pro level. And let's be honest, the amateurs want you to be as good as you could be on a pro level match during their match as well, and that's only fair to them.
Yep.
All right, so I look at every match equal, but there is a little higher anxiety level in a pro match.
Yeah, I bet. I can't imagine. I don't know if I could handle it. I don't think I am the right type of person to be able to be a referee. I commend you guys. I don't envy you. Definitely appreciate you, that's for sure.
Thanks. It takes a certain desire to want to be a referee.
Yeah.
You're not just a scorekeeper. Some people think they're just out there keeping the score.
Right.
But inside, let's take the example, inside the APP Tour, we're USAP sanctioned tournaments. So all the referees go through USAP training, referee training, and there's different levels of training. And the expectation is always you're applying all the procedures and scripts to every match that you do. And if you don't, there are people watching, and it's like people make decisions on who do I need for this or who do I need for that? Who do we think will do a great job, representing what they've been taught and representing the tour and representing the players and doing a nice job for the players. So it's weird. We have the referees we have our own little I'll call it our own little language, because, a lot of people will say, we're going to go to the other side of the court. No, it's an end. There are 2 ends and 4 sides to every court, right? If you look at it that way.
Yeah.
And then anytime you're in a meeting with a referee and you say this word side, they're going to say, no, that's an end. They're always going to correct you and inside of this particular language.
Yeah.
So it's all really, really interesting. And I will say it's fun as well. The referee world is fun to be in. I have a whole family of new friends, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that those people will have your back anytime and every time.
Yeah. And what I love is when I'm at the big tournaments that have a bunch of the referees, it's really cool to see beforehand, like the meeting that you guys have to kind of discuss everything, and you can see that camaraderie, but you can also see like how serious everybody takes it. It's very cool to see. I love it. I respect it. It's great.
Yeah. So those are the meetings you see, right?
Yeah.
The meetings you don't see are the meeting before the tournament. Bob Swisselm hosts a weekly call for referees only. His Zoom only allows 100 people in, but there are probably 500 people on his mailing list.
Oh, wow.
Another lady named Nancy Kaplan, she does a weekly Zoom call for referees, and they just go through the handbook, they go through the rule book line by line. And those are mostly all brand new referees that are learning this. And this is all, just volunteering their time, just doing this. I host a monthly Zoom call. It's called In the Ref Tent. And we talk about rules, procedures, policies, philosophies, just anything, but it's all referee related. So these are all the things that, the players don't see that the referees are doing to enhance their craft or improve their craft. And I can assure you that every referee that goes out on court is doing the best that they can at the time that they're out there. It doesn't always work out perfectly. We understand that. But there's a lot of work that goes involved.
Yeah, I bet. This is great stuff, man. So View from the Post, that's the podcast that Mike is the co-host of. You guys definitely want to check that out. What do you want to tell to everybody before we part ways here? Like, what's the best way to follow you? What's the best way to find the podcast?
Yeah, check it out. View from the Post. It's on YouTube. We're trying to, like I said, every couple of weeks or as time allows us to. Bob and I talked the other day, when we put out a new one, we're going to put the subject matter inside of the line as well. To say this one's going to talk about this. Or you can write us and ask us to talk about a certain subject, viewfromthepost@gmail.com.
Very nice. And I want to give a special thank you to Paddle and Par for hosting us here today for this interview. If you've never checked out Paddle and Par in Beverly Hills, Michigan, do yourself a favor and check it out. This place is absolutely awesome. But back to you, Eddie and Webby.
Well, Webby, once again, you interviewed somebody. It was engaging, and it did not disappoint. And I got to say, I'm super excited to check out their podcast. It seems like pickleball content went from there's none out there to it became heavily saturated, and everybody decided they wanted a podcast, right? And I'm not hating on it, but it did seem like it just became saturated. But we haven't received a lot of content from this perspective. You have these amazing referees who are incredibly selfless and humble, going out there week after week, event after event, putting up with a lot of crap for very little reward outside of their own personal reward that they get from doing it. So to hear from their perspective, everything in pickleball, talking about rules, it's incredible. And on top of it, 2 incredible guys that I have loved working with over the years.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for both of those guys. They are some of the best in the referee game. And yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea. Like I was telling Mike, that this is one that I am very interested in. It's different than anything else that's out there. And I feel like anybody who tunes in, they're going to get a lot of value out of it. They just got started, but I thought their first one turned out great. It's only going to get better from here on out, and everybody should definitely check it out. View from the Post.
I definitely am going to check it out. Super cool, Webby. Another great one. You want to hear about something else that's great?
Yes, I do. I would love to hear about something else that's great.
Well, I'm going to tell you about it. And it's actually our friends over at Jigsaw Health. They make incredible products that keep you hydrated, that keep you feeling good. Webby, how do you like to stay hydrated?
Well, one of my favorite things to do, in fact, I did this right before my interview with Mike because I didn't want dry mouth. I didn't want to be dehydrated, is I pour a packet of the potassium cocktail into a bottle of water, and I start my day with that, and it's a great way to do it. I always feel refreshed and rehydrated all throughout the day.
Well, it's going to make you feel good because at Jigsaw Health, it's fun to feel good. Do you know what else feels good? That's saving 10% off your order. And you can do that by using coupon code PB4Life10 at jigsawhealth.com to get 10% off your order to also help us out. We really appreciate it. You're going to love their products. They're a great company. I'm going to keep going on and on if I don't shut up. Just go to jigsawhealth.com, coupon code PB4Life10. Get yourself some great stuff.
That's right. But man, I can't believe it. We are already on episode 101, working our way to episode number 200. It has been a wild ride so far, and I have a feeling it's going to get even wilder.
I agree, Webby.
But we cannot end this episode until we find out Eddie's
Closing thoughts.
So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that Zane Ford might be a beast on the pickleball court, but might need a little bit of help with breaking his paddle out of frustration. We also learned that it's totally acceptable to hit on grandmothers on the pickleball court, but maybe you should draw the line at great-grandmothers. And Webby got a chance to sit down with the one and only Mike Baumgarder to talk about a new podcast that I'm really excited to check out.
That's right. This was a super fun episode. I am very excited to kick off a whole new season leading up to episode 200 of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. But that's going to do it for us here today on episode 101.
That's right. And guys, we've been having some great discussions in the comments. Keep them coming. Throw it down in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. If you haven't liked this video yet and you do like it, please like it and do all the other things that I feel really slimy asking you to do. It really does help us out and we really appreciate it. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And you guys probably thought that we forgot to do the second winner of the Volair paddle, but we just swerved you. We did not forget. We totally didn't forget until this very moment. So here we go. The winner of the second Volair paddle of the winner's choice is Mike Mager on Twitter, aka X. So thank you very much, Mike. Congratulations to you and to Nathan. You are both the proud owners of a new Volair paddle of your choice. We'll make sure to get your contact information, and then you guys are going to have a good day in a few weeks when that arrives.
Let us know what you think of the paddle after playing with it, but I'm pretty confident you're going to love it. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.
Well, we're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh yeah.